Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 29th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by Big Marcel. Marcel, what's going on, man?
Same as yesterday, man. All good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I just finished work, so day's going good. I always look forward to our Tuesday talk, man. Like, I love Tuesday the podcast because we always do the breakdowns. But of course, no UFC this weekend, so yeah, it's going to be a different. We'll just do like fight announcements, do news. We'll do like any questions people have, we'll answer them today, Marcel. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. We've got some guys in the chat. Hype, what's going on, bud? We got Robert. Hey, what's up, man? JPH, what's up, buddy? Glenn, no worries, man. What's up? And we won't talk about that today. That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We'll talk all about all these new fights and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, no, it's crazy, right? Like it's the first first weekend in like a while, Marcel, without a UFC card. Do you like that? Like a weekend off, or would you rather just have the fights?
I'd rather have fights, man.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I honestly, I'm the same way. I mean, like for me, it's like MMA is like my life, so I want to watch the fights. But once in a while, it's not bad to have a weekend off, and like I'm gonna hang out with my family this weekend. It's not a bad thing to do that once in a while too. You know what I mean? So,
plus, yeah, we have. Sometimes they do like what I really hate when they do, for example, 2 early cards after each other, and then they do no card. Then it feels like I had 3 weeks without a fight on a card at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I know there are other promotions, but
yeah, that's the thing. There's some cards. There's Cage Warriors, there's PFL, and there's a XMMA, which has actually I think the XMMA card. We'll talk about that card actually if you don't mind. We can talk about that.
That's a very decent card.
Actually, a nice card. Like I think that promotion's got some pretty good fights, man. Like a little underrated.
Do you know who's behind it?
I think I feel like I do know, and I just forgot. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I remember hearing about it, like maybe last year or 2 years ago when they were talking about starting it. But I don't know, man. They have a lot of big names. We'll talk about that card. Let me get some more people on the in the comments. We got Alex. What's up, man? Alex is not going to be in Vegas doing the interviews this week because there's no card. Joe, what's up, man? He hates when there's no card. Totally understand, man. You know what I mean? Like, I prefer fights too. I know, like March Madness. That's the thing. I think every year they take a week off for March Madness. I guarantee you, Dana White's betting a lot of money on these games. We know Dana likes betting. He's definitely betting on March. He can't bet on UFC. I'm assuming he can't bet on UFC fights. He bets on March Madness. He bets on football. So, JPH talking about PFL. I know that we'll talk about that card. The lines are weird. No one has any pro experience. Like there's a couple guys that are minus 500. I mean, I don't get it really. I know they have amateur fights. People are looking at that. I get it, but it's different. Yeah, there are some good cards. I know, right? We got to spend time with our families, man. What's up, Litchell? Yeah, so it should be good today. We'll talk about some fights. Let's go to your and we'll take questions too. We're here for an hour. If you guys have questions and stuff, I'll take them. But don't ask for picks for UFC 273. We're gonna wait till next Tuesday, Marcel. But we will talk about the card. And we'll start with Marcel's Instagram page because. Man, there were some new fight announcements that came out this today, including a couple of crazy ones for UFC 273. So I'll pull that up right here. 1 second here. There we go, Marcel. So happened this afternoon. So basically, I'm in this group chat, and at 11 a.m., some guy says, "Hey, man," he's like, "Did you guys hear Anthony Hernandez is out of the fight?" And I'm like, "What? What is this guy talking about?" I'm looking everywhere, Marcel. Nothing. An hour later, they announced he's out of the fight, and he's fighting Josh Fremd, and this is because Kelvin Gastelum is fighting Dricus du Plessis now. So there's some switch up guy. Go ahead.
People knew because some guy posted yesterday, like, can't wait to hit this line. Dricus du Plessis against Anthony Hernandez. And Anthony replied under it, like, plot twist, I'm not fighting him anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. So people knew. And then Josh Fremd tweeted like 12 hours, like last night. He was like, I just got like a call or something. So it was in the works. Anyways, so I love this fight. This is a fucking banger. Huge fan of both these guys. I mean, I've been a fan. I've always loved Kelvin Gastelum, man. I picked him to win Ultimate Fighter against Uriah Hall back in the day. He was like plus 300 underdog that day. I've always loved the guy. He's had some bangers. I mean, I know he's been on a skid, but like he's literally fought the best guys at 185, and he is an undersized guy at 185. Du Plessis though, man, is such a monster. I'm since the fight's not going to happen. I was going to pick him against Anthony Hernandez. I don't know who. Did you have a?
Yeah. As well.
Me too. So I actually quite liked him there. And, this is a harder matchup, obviously. The odds came out, guys, today. The odds opened as a pick'em. But since then, the money has come in on Kelvin Gastelum. He's a bit of a favorite now almost minus 200. So we'll see how that line like shapes up. But I think the odds minus 110 each made sense. I think this fight's super freaking close. And I mean, just your initial thoughts. I honestly haven't looked at the fight enough because we just found out about it a couple hours ago. Any thoughts? Like,
I mean, if Kelvin decides to wrestle this fight, I mean, this can be a tough one for Dricus, But man, Kelvin never been finished in his career via knockout or TKO, right? So Dricus has the power. It will be an interesting fight, If Dricus wins this one, he's in top 15. If Kelvin wins this one, he remains where he is probably. So, but Kelvin needs to win this one. I think he has one win his last 5 or 6 against Ian Heinisch was the only. But he fought the best in the division, with Robert Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, Jack Hermanson. I forgot a few, Darren Till as well, Jared Cannonier. So it's difficult to say, This is obviously Dricus is still an up-and-coming guy in the UFC, And is it on the level of the maybe he is, but we don't know if he has the same level as the guys Kelvin fought last times, So it's different. It's a different fight, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good one, man. It should be a really good fight, I think.
I love this fight.
Actually, this might be even. I would have favored Imavov against Gastelum, man, for example.
I mean, it's not like, to be fair, he was like minus 200. Against Gastelum. That fight got canceled last night. I was bummed out because it looked like he was going to be off the card for a second, and then obviously he made the switch up here. So this is the one fight, and the other fights here. The line come out. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that was they were supposed to rebook Gastelum against Imavov, but I think Kelvin wanted to stay on the card, which I obviously understand. Yeah.
So this is the other fight, and the odds came out for this one too. And Fluffy's a favorite, obviously. He's minus 150, plus 120 in Fremd. So I mean, the odds make sense there. Again, Hernandez, man, he's pretty good, man. I mean, he had that crazy fight with Rodolfo Vieira.
Yeah,
was that his last fight? I think it was his last fight.
But it's actually crazy, man, that the odds are so close, man. Because normally when a new guy comes up, it's like plus 350 or something, Yeah. And this is I don't say those are not the right odds, but it's different than normally,
Josh Fremd's pretty good. He's a good prospect.
Yes, he is.
This is a good fight. I kind of feel bad for Fluffy. I feel like he deserved a better ranked opponent, I guess. But Josh Fremd's pretty solid, and I gotta look at Fremd a little bit more. I do remember his fight with Greg Rodriguez. He got knocked out, but he has won like 2 fights since then in Fury Fighting Championship. So he's good. I know he's a good prospect, but I did watch the fight. I think it was last year against Rodriguez. He got brutally knocked out. So this is not really a guy that's going to knock him out necessarily. But man, I mean, Fluffy's definitely solid. Lucas is Gastelum. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Dricus to Plessis is a beast. I know Gastelum hasn't been knocked out, Marcel, but he got dropped in his last fight. He got dropped 4 times against Izzy. So he's taking a lot of damage. He's been in a lot of wars, man. At some point, it's going to catch. We always talk about it, Marcel. It catches up to these guys at some point.
That's true. Yeah.
And he's still young too, which is crazy about Kelvin. I think he's still on the right side of 30. Let me check how old he is. 30, I think. 30 years old. I mean, he's still young, but again, he's been in so many wars. He's had 20 fights in the UFC. This guy has been fighting literally the best guys in the world since he joined the UFC 9 years ago. It's crazy, man. His level you're right, Marcel. He's 1-5 in his last 5 fights, but he lost to Cannonier, Whittaker, Adesanya, Hermanson, and Till. I mean, those guys are studs.
Yeah, to be really honest, man, I think if Dricus du Plessis had the same kind of guys he fought, he might have had the same record. I don't say he would, but probably, yeah. So,
exactly, but Dricus I like Dricus, man. It's a good fight. There's some comments here. I'm sorry, guys, I missed some of these podcasts yesterday with a guy from Texas Streets came said Tom Maslow used to spar there. Yeah, Tom is a beast, man. And he's really highly ranked. By the way, the rankings came out today, guys. The UFC rankings. Jennifer Maia is ranked above Manon Fiorot, which is, I mean, I talk about, they're just a joke. They're a complete joke. Don't even look at them because it's just going to make you pull your hair out of your head because I don't have any hair to pull out. But Marcel,
he already shaved 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know. God, I didn't want to just say or pull it. But seriously, how does that make any sense? It makes no fucking sense. She literally just beat her.
Let's remember when with Bellator, with Peter Kelly and Patricky Pitbull.
Yeah,
I know. In my opinion, Pitbull was better, and it got stopped due to a cut. But if you defeat a guy, you should hop over him at least.
I agree. And I saw your tweet about someone saying Paul Craig and Ankalaev.
Yeah,
But that was fought 4 years ago. It's different than literally 2 days ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this just happened. Anyways, they're stupid. We're not going to get into them because it's just going to, again, Marcel. It's going to make Marcel angry. It's going to make me angry. I don't want that. I want to have a smile on my face today, guys. What do you think of the betting odds? I think that I feel like it's short on Hernandez at minus 150. I thought it would be like minus 200 at least, personally. So I gotta I have to watch Fremd some more, man. I know he's won his last couple. He's probably looked really good, but I think Fluffy's good. I think Fluffy's underrated. People don't respect him enough. He was like plus 400 against Rodolfo Vieira and submitted him with a guillotine. That was so crazy. That was one of the craziest finishes that was last year, I think. So
I think it's because he looked really not good in his losses. That's probably why people think he isn't that great. I think that loss against Kelvin Holland was within 30 seconds, I think. And that's what many people still have on their back of their minds, But I think he's a good fighter, and he's also still young. I think he's from 1993, so that's young. Everything above 1989 is young to me because I'm from 1989. So 1993 is young. Yeah. Everything under 1989 is old. So Adam, you're 1988. Too bad, dude. Just kidding.
I know. I'm an old man now. It's crazy, right? I used to be the young guy. Now I'm the old guy. It's crazy. Mitchell saying it's public. No, it is. I mean, I think it's on the website. I know Brian Hemminger's on it. He works for MMA Oddsbreaker. Again, no shade to Brian because I know he does know the sport. He's good at picking the fights and everything. But I haven't looked at his individual rankings. But overall, the rankings are fucking bad. They're just bad. Don't look at them, guys.
Dude, remember at flyweight when they had Neil Siri in it, when Neil Siri already he was
retired, right? Retired. Yeah, I know. It's stupid. Anyways, let's look at some other fights here, guys. Couple of other announcements. I didn't see this one. So some of these I actually haven't seen, Marcel, because I've been working all day and I didn't check your Instagram.
This got announced via press release.
Okay, so for 275. So that card is taking place June 11th, guys, in Singapore. It's official. 2 title fights. Just seeing this right now. Simon Oliveira is just, he doesn't look too. He did fight, I think, Tony Gravely, and he lost the decision. It's not like that's an easy fight, but I wasn't too impressed. And then Kong, I should say, he's up and down. He fought Ronnie Young, I believe, his last fight and got dominated, right? It was pretty lopsided.
I think,
right?
I think it was 1-1, and he decided to go to the ground with him, and he got how do you say that, swept? And
that's right. Again, it was a few months ago now, but he didn't look great though. He's a little older too. Anyways, I don't know. Any thoughts on this one quickly?
Yeah, he's older than me. So, no, I think Kyung Ho Kang, I still think he's a pretty decent fighter, dude. But the thing is, I think he has been a long time in the UFC. He has 10 fights, but he should have fought much more, I think. And for Simon Oliveira, I really like this Contender Series fight against Jose Alday. But Alday was on 4 days' notice or 5 days' notice. And the Gravely fight, you can lose to Gravely, man. Gravely is a kind of guy who can give almost everybody a difficult fight, in the UFC. Not always wins, but he gives you a difficult fight. So I think it's an interesting fight,
Yeah. And then, by the way, the Latifi Romanov, okay, so that fight's not happening now. It's obviously Romanov and Boser. By the way, the odds came out for that today. They opened at minus 150 Romanov, and Cole sends me the tweet saying, "Look at these odds," and I'm like, "That is so fucking low." And now it's minus 500, a few hours later. So pretty crazy. Zhang and Joanna 2 for 275. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't. Maybe, but I feel like that would be more. I know it's in Singapore, but I think that would be 276.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, that seems like the fight they would want in Vegas.
Also,
right?
Yeah, good to say, by the way. People were asking me, is this fight, will this be on normal North American time?
Here's a question from Glenn. He was about to ask that, so go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is, I saw multiple posters, and you normally see on the posters when an event takes place. And the Chinese posters, which is in Asia, had the had June 12th on it. Uh-huh. And the American posters has June 11th. Brazilian posters June 11th. So it's the same as the North American. So they're probably going to fight early morning in Singapore, and it will be probably just a normal pay-per-view, US pay-per-view as normally. Yeah. Because you see, they stacked the card already with 2 title fights. They stack it with Whitaker against Vettori. They're not going to do that at a bad time for the US, man. They need to sell pay-per-views. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. The only time they do those odd times are when it's really not those weaker fight night cards, the one where Anthony Hernandez fought Jung Young Park. That card was at 4 a.m, and I'm like, I don't know if I could watch. That was
but that was a fight night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They only do those at the time. They rarely do the pay-per-views off time. They try to keep it for the North American audience. I know the Bisping card. I think Bisping Henderson.
Yeah, but that was also at night. I watched it at night.
Oh, it was okay. So like, I don't remember the last time they did a non.
Only
I guess the Abu Dhabi one, right? Abu Dhabi.
But they have to. They have a contract there. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, let's go to some other fights here. This is one Marcel broke, I believe. Jake Hadley Nascimento. Here's Hadley in the comments. I hope this guy can make weight. And he's some guy said he's gonna make weight. Like, he's a talented guy. He's gonna be a huge favorite in this fight, even though Nascimento's pretty good himself. But I mean, he's got to make weight, right? If he misses weight, geez, But he'll make weight, I think, Marcel. I
think so too.
Yeah, he better. If he doesn't, Dana White's gonna probably cut him from the roster right away. This fight was rebooked. Cole actually broke that. It's next week. UFC Stats has this as the first fight of the card. It might change, but right now that's leading off the card.
I'm happy Cole broke that fight because I think 15 minutes later the UFC came with the official.
I saw it. Yeah, and a lot of people didn't credit him, which sucks because I feel like they should because he got it first. But that's just how a lot of people in this business are bottom feeders, man. They don't want to give credit to other people when it's due. It's really lame, actually. It's stupid. Yeah, right now it looks like it's going to lead off the card. I mean, that could change, but like I was saying, like to you, Marcel, last night, like, they did some heavyweight fights opening the card recently. Like they did William Knight against Maxim Grisham, I think the last pay-per-view, right? 272 that opened the card. So occasionally they will do it. It's kind of weird, but I mean, maybe they think a knockout's going to happen. I don't know.
What I personally think what they're going to do, I think they will downgrade Anthony Hernandez and Josh Fremd to the early prelims, and I think they will bump this one up to the prelims.
Oh, that sucks because I feel like those guys honestly deserve to shine more. And again, you guys heard what I said about this fight last week. I think it's going to suck. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but I feel it's going to be a grind with two guys who just want to put each other against the fence. That's what I think. The loser should have to shave their hair and beard. The loser's going to get cut. I'll say that right now. The loser of this fight, actually, if Olynyk, I don't know if he'll retire because he's one of those guys that just doesn't want to retire. I don't think he'll retire. He'll just go to he might go to, hey man, he can go to PFL. Like, he'd be one of the better heavyweights there, honestly. Marcel, like as crazy as it sounds, rather have a heavyweight open the card in 5-round main event. Yeah, I know. I agree completely with that, Rudy. Like I said last week, man, that we didn't need that fight to be 5 rounds with Blades and Dawkins. It was a good fight, but it could have been co-main. And again, Askarov and Kai should have been 5 rounds. In my opinion, I've been saying that for a couple of weeks, but I know you were saying the same thing. Should Ty Brewer and Rosenstruck be over Olynyk with TV? Again, the lineup could change, but I mean, I'd say so because Rosenstruck's the highest ranked of all those guys, so probably, Let's go to some other fights here, Marcel. Jordan Levitt, Trey Ogden. Just saw this one as well. It's a replacement fight. Victor Martinez fell out. Not the former catcher for the Cleveland Indians. There was a guy named Victor Martinez who was like a really good baseball player for a long time. A different guy, but yeah, this Trey Ogden. I think he's a Fury FC guy. Am I right?
Yeah, he won the title and he got signed, but that was looking for a fight card. What Dana was.
Yeah, he's pretty good. 15-4 record. He has some losses, but has some good wins. The only thing is, man, I'm looking at his record right now. Dude, he's been submitted by Thomas Gifford twice. Thomas Gifford sucked in the UFC. He was like one of the worst fighters probably in the UFC. I'm not trying to be mean, Marcel. He was really bad. Remember that fight with Mike Davis? And he's like, I want to bring on my shield, man. That was so crazy.
Dude, that fight, I was literally praying, please don't let him get knocked out in the last 20 seconds because he got already so much damage and he literally got knocked out with 13 seconds to go.
I'm looking right now. He just actually got knocked out 2 years ago. He hasn't fought in 2 years, but the fight after that, he got knocked out in 30 seconds. So his career's over. I mean, he's got no chin left anymore. It's all because of that fight and that ref. Who was the ref in that fight? Andrew Glenn. Who the hell is that? Who is that?
Ricky Glenn's dad. I have no idea.
Dude, that fight was brutal. Remember that fight, Marcel? There was just like a beatdown.
I don't want to remember it. That's Davis did amazing, but I don't want to remember
Davis, even money, that was a great bet, man. Thomas Gifford is just terrible. Wonder why they didn't make Josh Fremd fight Gastelum. Because I think Gastelum, the thing is, they want to give Duplessis a chance in the rankings, man. Why would Josh Fremd get that chance? He doesn't deserve it. That's why I agree with you when you're saying, like, why break out the matchup? That's what I thought. But then I'm like, it didn't make sense to give Fremd a ranked guy at all, so I get it. It's
pretty much the best thing they could do because Dricus the Plessis is just under the top 15, I think.
He's probably the 16th guy or something. Yeah.
So, I mean, this makes sense. And if Anthony Hernandez, I hope at least that the UFC did it in a normal way and not just pulled this guy from the fight and they're like to Hernandez, like, you now have to fight Josh Fremd because that would be fucked up. But it's the best fight they could do probably on this short notice. So
I agree. My first thought was the same thing though. I'm like, why would they break up the matchup? But it does make sense because again, Dricus deserves that chance to fight a guy in the top 15. So, and as far as this fight goes, I got to think about it more. Let's go to some other ones. This was announced a couple days. I mean, you actually, I don't know why you didn't break the story. You basically were telling us on the podcast. I'm surprised. Why didn't you just break it? Why didn't you let Ariel break it? Why didn't you break it?
It's very simple, man, because I don't have both sides of this, and then I'm not going to do it. And
Fair enough.
I knew they were going to make it. I said it May 14th. I think I said it for 2-3 weeks,
You
but
did.
yeah, but it's okay, man. You know,
That's okay. No, it's not like it's a, like a title fight or something like that. It's still a good fight though. It could be boring. It could be, based on how Rakic has looked. The guy's playing it really safe lately. Is there odds for this? Let me take a look. Is there odds?
and they're
There
going
is
back
odds.
to the,
Hold on, there's odds. There's odds. We have odds.
Right.
Minus 140 Blahovic, or sorry, minus 140 Rakic, plus 120 Blahovic. Interesting. Right. So Rakic is favored here to win this fight.
And they're going back to the Apex again, right?
Yeah, and Jan's fought good there. He won the title there. It's an interesting fight, man. I think people are kind of like, are people forgetting Jan was the champion? He beat Israel just over a year ago, 13 months ago. Now he's an underdog against Rakic. That's interesting. I'm not saying he'll win the fight because Rakic is really good at winning these boring fights. He could just make it boring, Marcel. And after seeing, Jan get washed in like a minute by Glover, I mean, I could see why people are kind of off the train now, right? But I think you got to remember that Jan's a beast still. Like he was on such a long win streak before that. I got to think about this fight a little bit more, but they're both good fighters. I just think Rakic, man, if he plays it safe, he won't get a title shot. He's got to go for a finish in this fight because, man, that last fight, Jesus, the last two fights, Marcel, the Santos fight and the fight with Anthony Smith was a really rough fight to watch. Like I understand it's about winning, but to get the title shot, you also have to entertain. I think, Marcel, because it's sports entertainment product at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So. The guy's good, but if he goes out there and lays an egg again, maybe he'll get passed over by someone else. I could see that happening.
He lays an egg again. What's that guy? This is amazing. I never heard that before.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that somewhere. It's like a saying or something like that. Don't blame the winner in a boring fight. Not at all. I mean, listen, like they got again, it was like that Mark D. Casey guy. I get it. I'm just saying it's fine to win. If we bet on him in cash, it's great. But to get the title shot, you have to impress Dana White and Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby. And if you're just going to lie on a guy, I don't know if that impresses them. I'm just being honest, And I'm just saying, Marcel, like I could see if he does that, maybe they'll go Jamal Hill or something instead. Be like, hey, Jamal's more exciting. I'm just saying.
I mean, another good example, man, in the same division, Ankalaev, wasn't also amazing what he did against Santos. Also not great,
Yep.
And he asked for a title fight. He's not going to get it.
No, he's not getting it. No, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. And that fight wasn't even wrestling based. It was striking. And it wasn't very high volume. Rakic, best in the Rio fans, very boring fighter. It's crazy because, man, he was so excited. The knockout of Jamie Manuwa and stuff. Like the fight with the Volkan fight was a good fight. Like he knocked, I think, didn't he beat Justin Ledet? I think he knocked him out.
Yeah.
Too. And I saw him fight in Toronto against Devin Clark, and he knocked him out in a crazy fight.
He was. He
also got dropped in that fight.
Yeah.
So and they knocked him out with spinning back fist. But
he made his debut actually here. I was there against Francimar Barroso. So yeah.
Yeah. And that guy was a boring fighter. Francimar Barroso. Yeah. You got to win. It's all about winning. But to get that title shot, you have to do a little bit more sometimes in a division where there's other guys. If it was a division where there's no one else as a contender, like in the women's 125 pound weight class or something like that, or actually not 125, sorry, like 145, 145, you get one win, you get a title shot, basically, Marcel. You know what I mean? Like that, but in this division, there are a lot of contenders right now. Jamal Hill, Ankalaev, Rakic, Blachowicz, Yuri Glover fighting, but there's a lot of guys, so. MA Jed is saying, when are you posting the updated fight order? He's still waiting.
I'm waiting until something.
Because right now, again, Latifi's opening the card. We're not sure if that's the case. Rakic, Ankalaev would be a perfect sleep aid. That's funny. Maybe. I mean, it could be exciting. Maybe that's what they need. Two boring guys to push each other, make it exciting. I'm not saying Ankalaev is boring, by the way, or even Rakic, but the last two fights weren't great by them. We're just being honest here, I still love both guys. I cashed on both guys. It was nice, but all right, let's go to this fight. It's also a replacement fight. This taking place. I think you broke this fight, right?
Yeah, but I'm so bummed about this, man. And I really wanted to see Aldana against Lad.
Aldana and Lad made sense because there's basically two girls that miss weight and they're talented. And I think the winner maybe would have got a title shot, maybe.
At least we're close.
Here's the thing about Arnold Allen. I mean, I agree with you, but here's the thing with Arnold. Like right now, he probably deserves it, but there's so many there's other guys, man. There's Max still. There's a few other guys.
I think Arnold needs at least one more contender fight.
But the problem is he only has one ranked win. That's the problem there. He only has one ranked win. So I know what you're saying, though. I mean, he looked amazing in his last fight. I don't have a problem with him. Is Aspen not a good weight cut value? I'm telling you right now, my initial thoughts are Raquel Pennington, but I'm not saying that's my official pick by any means. I'm waiting until next Tuesday. I'm not going to give a pick out right now, an official pick. But the line is getting a little bit longer than I thought. It opened at -145. Now it's -180. So it's getting up there. I see a lot of people putting money in Pennington. I want to see. This is a great fight to wait for the weigh-ins. Like, what's the rush to bet on it? This is the perfect fight to wait for the weigh-ins. This fight might get canceled. So why would you even have money tied up right now in Pennington? If this girl doesn't make weight, they'll cancel the fight probably. So I'm just going to wait till next Friday for this one, man. Regardless, we're going to go through. I see hype saying about PFL. We're going to talk about that in a sec, but let's just go through a few more UFC fights and we'll go through PFL. Ladd and Big Mouth Tate, that's hilarious. Tate's fighting Murphy now, I believe. I think this fight would make sense, but Tate's talking all this shit and then she drops a weight class instead. It's kind of lame. Like, she talks so much shit about Aspen Ladd and her I think her boyfriend Jim West. So, I just think again, you shouldn't be. She was really criticizing the relationship, saying, "Well, if he yells at her in the corner, what goes on at home?" I mean, you're in a fight. Like, what the hell? Like, it's such a weird thing to say. Anyways, Stolte dropping lightweight. Oh, really? I thought he got cut though. I think Nicholas Stolte got cut, buddy. Didn't he? Pretty sure, Marcel.
I'm not sure. Possible.
Because Jared Gooden got cut and he knocked him out. So it'd be kind of weird if this guy was on the roster still, wouldn't it?
The UFC surprised me with nothing anymore, Adam. So,
and he might be still on the roster. I'm just saying it'd be weird because Jared Gooden, knocked him out last year. He's not cut. Okay, interesting, Tristan. Interesting. Okay. It's kind of like David Zavato got cut. Yeah, he was a pretty good fighter, man. He had some really close fights against some tough guys. Alex is confirming Stolte's not cut. That's good.
Okay, great, Alex. Then tell me who he's fighting next because he's.
You probably know Alex. He's fighting. Yeah. Okay, so he's dropping a lightweight. That makes sense. I guess they were like, "Hey, we'll give you another shot." I do find it weird though when a guy, Nicholas has been a PI for weeks, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm not really paying attention to Nicholas Stolte's Instagram, bud. Sorry, but I'm glad you told me that he's still on the roster. But I'm just saying it's kind of weird sometimes. Like Louis Cossey got a fight announced, and Tristan, man, whoa, we got him, man. What was I saying? Who was the guy I just said? Who got a fight announced? Oh, Louis Cossey. But Sasha Platnikov, who knocked him out, is cut, right? I think that's kind of strange sometimes, but Sasha lost a few other fights. Let's go to some other ones here. Sean Strickland. We talked about this one, I think. The odds are out for it. Perez. I think they opened Strickland as the favorite. Now he's the line flipped. -175 Pereira, which I think is right. I think Pereira should be the favorite in this one. It should be a good fight, though. I love this fight. It's only 3 rounds, eh?
Who should be favorite, you say?
I think Pereira should be favored. And I'm the biggest Sean Strickland fan ever. I really am.
I absolutely don't think so, man. To be
I think it's fair because it's not. Remember, man, it's not just who you're going to think is going to win the fight. It's also about hype. You got to build that in. There's so much hype on this guy. Everyone loves this guy right now. If he knocks him out, he's going to get a title shot.
I hope he's a big favorite. I'm betting on Strickland, man.
It's not. I don't think it's a terrible bet. Sean Strickland's he's probably the better MMA fighter. It's an MMA fight, but again, I think he's got to wrestle. A little bit. You can't just stand and trade with this guy.
He should. Why not?
Yeah. Maybe there's a few other ones. Did we talk about this one yet?
No, I don't think we talk about it. No.
So Chukagan got re-signed by the UFC. You talk about fighters that are not very exciting. Caitlin Chain's right there. Has she ever even had a finish in the UFC? I guess the one time she had one finish.
No, she has a record for 10 wins, all 10 to decision with the decision.
Yeah, she got finished once by Valentina. Was that maybe the only fight that didn't go the distance? Yeah, and Ribas, matches up well against her. I guess I don't know. It should be an interesting fight.
She got finished twice, right? Against Valentina, against Andrade.
Yeah,
well.
Yeah. We'll see what this one.
The thing is, if Ribas wins this fight, she is probably one of the number one contenders at flyweight.
Jedi, man, the odds are out though. They actually opened Strickland as the favorite at -180, and the odds are completely flipped now. It's -180 Pereira. So I know what you're saying. Like if you feel like he should be favored, that's good then, because then you should bet on Strickland as underdog. But the bettors are kind of making it clear now that they feel like Pereira should be favored. I expect the line to get a little tighter though. I don't think it's going to get crazy. Like it's a close fight. Like he's a really good fighter. A few other things here. Go through a couple more. I feel like some of these, we don't have to talk about that much. But like Grant Dawson's taking this fight on short notice, I believe, against Jared Gordon. Grant Dawson's still a good prospect, man. I think he should be favored in this fight, I would say. And
I'd say as well. Yeah.
This is also a good fight at flyweight. Two guys that Emir Albazi hasn't fought in a while, but he's very talented. He has some good wins on his record. Tim Elliott, obviously talented guy too. Junior Freight Demopoulos. So some of these are like smaller fights. This was another one. I think we talked about that already. This is a good fight. So there's some good fights coming up, guys. This one also rebooked. Let's do some other stuff. Let me get some comments. All right, let's go to let's do what's it called? PFL. Let's do PFL. Let me pull it up on their Twitter because they announced the featherweight and heavyweight matchup. So Marcel, I know, is disappointed because his guy Matvey Khaibulev's out of the featherweight tournament. Marcel, so let me pull that up here. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. So they just announced this today. So this actually starts next. I was looking at the April schedule, guys. There's 4 UFC cards, there's 4 PFL cards, there's 3 Bellator cards, there's 3 LFA cards. Like next month is insane. So that's what I'm saying. Enjoy your weekend because it's going to be crazy next month, Marcel. There's so many cards coming up. It sucks Matvey Khaibuliev is out, but these some other good fights here. That's not the whole tournament.
That's the main card.
Yeah, here's the main card. That was the prelim. Sorry. So here's the main card. It's heavyweights and featherweights. Bruno's going to be a big favorite, I'd imagine, in this fight. Stuart Austin is a guy that actually has a win over Tom Aspinall on his record, which is insane. He actually submitted him with a heel hook, which is pretty crazy. Brendan Lofton, I don't know who this guy is. Ryoji Kudo. Is he a Rising guy? I'm not sure who he is.
I've never heard about him.
Yeah, I haven't heard of him. Matthias Scheffel is the guy who got knocked out at Murzakanov on Contender. Yeah. Delhi is a beast. Headed for obviously the guy who beat, it was overturned, but the guy who beat Verdum. And then the prelims, Lance Palmer's a former champ. That's an interesting fight, to be honest with you. A lot of wrestling in that fight. Going to be a grind. Bubba Jenkins guy is going to wrestle this guy. This is the guy who used to be in the UFC. Sung.
Yeah, one fight.
Did he fight Peter Yan? Is that the guy?
No, he fought Taimur, I think.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Who's the guy that fought? Wait, is it not the same guy?
Yeah, that's Chin Susun or Chin Susan.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, this is the guy. He only had one fight though, which is kind of weird. And then Goltsov, obviously a bigger name there, and Sayev. A couple of former UFC guys here.
Do you know Sam K?
Don't know him. Who is he? He's a Swiss guy.
Never. Can you check it? Maybe it's
Switzerland. No, that's not Switzerland.
No, it's not Switzerland. It looks like Tonga or something.
Yeah, Samoa. Yeah. My apologies, guys. Sorry, it's not. Is it? They're saying from Australia, but I think that is Tonga, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Tonga for me.
Yeah, I think. It is. It is. Good call, Marcel. Nice job. Sorry, I just saw the little the symbol. You're right. This guy, looking at his record right now, he fought for that Brace promotion that a lot of those Australian guys came from, and Nitro. Coming off a couple. Hex Fight Series, another guy from there.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Rob Wilkinson, that former UFC fighter. I think he signed somewhere too recently. Yeah, he's in
also
PFL too. Yeah, they both got in PFL. He's the guy who lost to Izzy and Badr and got cut. That's pretty brutal. That's 2 tough fights. Anyways, I like it.
What's his record?
Who, the K?
Sam K, yeah.
8-5.
8-5, okay.
It's not good, but I don't think he's been finished. It looks like just decisions, but Goltsov is Goltsov's a beast. Goltsov's a beast. Overall, I think it sucks that Khaibulev's out, but
I love the Shayman Moraes fight against Boston Salmon, man. The second fight of the card and the prelims.
Who do you like in that one?
Probably Shayman, but I really like that fight. This is a fun fight, I think.
Let me check with this guy, Ryoji. What's his name? Kudo.
Ryoji Kudo. Maybe from Pancras or something.
Maybe, or Rising. I don't know this guy. Let me take a look. 10-2-1. Shuto. He's actually from Shuto.
Of course, we say every single.
I know every other Japanese promotion. That's the one he's from, right? What the hell? He's from Shuto. So I don't know him though. And he actually fought one as well a couple times. That's the cool thing though about these cards, right? Like you do learn about new fighters. Let's do the other. What's it called? The PFL card this weekend, guys. Let's look at it quickly because I just want to show you how crazy this is. PFL challengers.
And are they actually challenging for a spot in the tournament or what?
I'm not sure because next week there's that second chance one too. I don't really understand what's going on. They're not really. It's not very clear to be honest, and I'm not sure who's watching it. I do want to cover it because these are fighters we've got to. But sorry, that's the wrong one. It's PFL Challenger Series 7. This is the one. Yeah, so these guys are all 0-0, which is crazy, right? I've never seen a card like this, like a pro MMA card where ever making their debut. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, Marcel, are the odds? Hold on, I know
Why does that guy named Cheyenne come in
Okay,
there?
this is really weird. The odds actually came out today. They were on best fight odds and they're gone now. I don't know what's going on there. That's really weird. Okay, but Fight Odds.io still has them. But they're not on best fight odds anymore, which is strange. FightOdds.io is another website that's really good for this. I actually used to write for them years ago. Give a shout out to Ryan, the guy who runs the site. Yeah, I'm looking at the odds right now, man. This guy, they did, but they're on FightOdds.io. I'm not sure what's going on. Are the lines just really that bad that they have to take them down? Maybe. I mean, because again, I'm not sure how they even line this card when they're all 0-0.
Exactly.
Now they do have amateur fights. Some of these guys have like 10, 20 amateur fights. Some of them 0. The one guy here has no fights. The Andrea guy, he has no fights, which is weird. Someone said he has like some sparring matches in Serbia, and I'm like, that's not a fight though. Like, what the hell? So it's like you're sparring. Like everyone has that, you know.
But many times from an amateur record, you can't say too much, you know. Yeah. Sometimes you can, but sometimes guys just take fights to get experience, you know, in the game. So, yeah.
I'm just looking at the odds right now. So, yeah, there's a couple ones here. So this the Stankovic guy who has no fights is minus 650, which I don't get. Like, how do they know he's that good? Like, is this just a setup fight? And PFL is like, oh yeah, I told the odds makers like this guy's going to destroy him. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, how did they even know if he's never fought? If he has no fights and no footage, it's kind of weird. The Turner guy's favored. Penn per grand is also favored. He was minus 500 too, but he's only minus 200 now. So the line went down at him. Tally's favored and Alderman's favored. I've never heard of any of these guys. I did the article today. I have no idea who they are.
Marcel, I wanted to say he was favored more, and now he's less. Somebody found another amateur fight of him that wasn't that good, so it's not favored anymore.
He's asking why there's 5 fights so far. I'm not sure, and I think next week actually there's nothing for next week. I went to the PFL website today. They have nothing there. It just says second chance. Like who's on that card? It's weird, man. I don't know. Like again, PFL. They keep saying like, "Oh, we're the number 2 MMA promotion. Like we're almost going to be as big as the UFC one day." Like, but no one watches their stuff and no one knows who these guys are. So. Again, this card's different. I'm not going to criticize them too much because, you know, it's kind of cool that they're actually doing this, Marcel, where they're giving these guys a chance. But also, it's just like, how do you cap these fights if they have no fights? It's pros. Because amateur is different, guys. It's different. You're wearing shin pads. Sometimes they wear headgear. You know, the rules are different. It's only 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes. There's so many different rules, Marcel, in amateur. I feel like it's hard to compare it, you know? So PFL is doing a bad job of the series. I agree. I mean, they had promise. I watched the first card with that crazy flying knee, and I was really impressed. But since then, I can't watch it in Canada. That was on YouTube, the first one. Then it's on like Fubo or something, and I don't have that, so I'm not gonna like. It's not like I'm, you know, looking for a stream of this at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on Friday night. Like it's not like it's my priority, you know. I've been checking the results though, just to see who's been getting the contracts and stuff, just to see that. But the other card I wanted to look at was this one, this XMMA card. Oh, it's not there. Okay. Pull up here. XMMA 3, I believe it's called. It looks pretty good.
Damn, dude. Nolan almost shocked me here. He said Dricus to Plessis has been pulled, and then from his fight against Anthony Hernandez to fight Gastelum. I was like, dude.
I mean, he's tweeting it so many hours later. He's really good, but I mean, it's pretty late now. So this is the card XMMA. I mean, if you like MMA and you want to bet on fights this weekend, I hope there's odds for this one because this card's really good, Marcel. This is a good card. It's a good. Whoa, how fucking crazy is we just talked about Planov and Gooden and they're on this card. Whoa, that is so crazy. I forgot they were on this card. Wow, that's so weird. Okay, man, there's some good fights on this card. Wow, this is a solid card. I mean, like again, a lot of guys that were cut for the UFC, like almost half the guys here are former UFC fighters, and you know they're not great fighters, but for like a B-level card, Marcel, that's not UFC or Bellator or PFL, this is a really good card, right? What do you think?
It is. Yeah,
it's solid, man.
It's also pretty well-known names on the card as well, right?
Yeah, so John Dodson and Francisco Rivera. Remember Cisco Rivera and John Lineker? That was one of the craziest fights ever. Yeah. I used to love Cisco Rivera, man. He had some crazy fights, but I think he tested positive for like steroids and got suspended for like 4 years or something, and his career's never been the same. John Dodson still... What's John been up to? He just won his last fight, right? He beat, or he lost to Cody Gibson. Shit, that's right. Cody's been on a roll. He's another UFC guy. You know, it's crazy. John Dodson dropped Peter Yan in their fight, guys. It's crazy,
I remember.
Right? And he beat Nathaniel Wood after that. Remember, that was a big upset. I didn't expect that, man. Well, was it? Well, only plus 130. Wow. Because I bet on Wood at minus 150 or whatever. I thought he'd win, and he was winning and got caught in that third round. Dodson, you know, he's not the same anymore, but I don't know, man. Who do you think wins this one? Rivera's coming off a win, or he's coming off a knockout loss, actually. But
I'll go with Dodson probably.
Yeah, by knockout, you think?
Maybe even with a decision, but yeah, probably.
Dodson? Okay. This is another good one, Kyle Stewart and Zach Otto. Kyle Stewart's been he fought in Cage Warriors and CFFC, and he fought XMMA. Look at the guys he's fought since leaving the UFC. Pretty good fighters, man. You know, Chris Curtis, Nashawn Brawl. It's not like they're scrubs. And then you have Zach Otto, the Barbarian. He's been on a roll. I was working for that that website last year, Spectation Sports, and we were covering this promotion, North Iowa Fights. So I remember like capping this one because he's looked good, man. His submission game is really good, and you look at who he lost to the UFC. I mean, it's pretty like tough fights, man. You know, for the most part. Although I'm sure he wants this one to get Sage Northcutt back, but I lean towards Zach Otto, guys. I mean, what do you think, Marcel?
Zach is a good fighter, man. In my opinion, he just had very tough fights in the UFC, I think, and he can win this. And Kyle Stewart, I gotta give him credit, man. The competition he's fighting outside of the UFC is also very good, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he had a tough fight. He had that fight on Contender Series where didn't he like break his leg? Am I thinking of someone else or something? No, they did. Yeah, the ankle.
Yeah,
Jason Jackson did. Yeah, that's how he basically got on their radar. But yeah, I remember that one. And then he's had some. He's fought some really tough guys, man. This is a good fight, man. And Lusa
should have been signed by the UFC
because this fight with Jack Della Maddalena was razor close. Jack Della Maddalena is like a guy that we all love.
Yeah,
I think this guy is ready for the UFC. And I think it's a mistake they didn't bring him in or give him like a developmental deal or something because he's really good. And John Howard, man, he's such a funny fighter, man, because he had that knockout of Ray Cooper a few years ago. He was plus 500 there, I think, plus 400. But it's like I remember I thought when he fought Tim Means in 2015, his career was over. Marcel, that brutal knockout, he was like sleeping on the floor. But he's really, he's bounced around since then. He's won some fights, lost some fights. His level of competition's been. Look at these guys he's fighting, killers. Every fight, Marcel. Kurmagomedov is a good fighter. Tyler Ray is a really good fighter. Should be in the UFC soon. David Machad's decent. Magomed Karamov, Bruno. These are all good fighters. This one's tough, man. I mean, I think Lusa probably though because he's a younger guy and everything. But John Howard really does surprise you once in a while, man. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I go with Angel Lusa, although I have a good friend in the US. Yeah. He's a huge John Howard fan, so he hates me for this, but I'm going with Angel Lusa, yeah.
He's at Sanford, isn't he? I think he's a Sanford
guy, he is,
right?
Definitely, yeah.
Doesn't say it there, but I think he is. This is also this Canadian guy, Luis Sanodakis. He's, a longtime Canadian fighter. He's a guy that's also bounced around. He's not made it like to a big show, I guess, besides Brave, but he's been fighting Marcel. Like this is like local Canadian circuit here. Some of these events like Hard Knocks, and I have a lot of respect for this guy because there's not like a huge MMA scene right now in Canada, which is disappointing because there was 10 years ago when GSP and Rory were doing so well. I feel like it's kind of died down a little bit, but this is one guy that's been grinding.
He was supposed to fight over here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, and I think there was some issue with like travel or something.
Yeah, and I think it got canceled as well, that event due to COVID.
And then he's taking this guy, former UFC fighter Takeki Matsuda, who look at his fights with the UFC were pretty close. He had the two lost. I mean, he lost the two, guys who are not there anymore. He's a very, very tough guy, though. I don't think he's really been finished before. It almost always goes to decision. Any thoughts on this one? I mean, Takeki's pretty tough dude, man. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Yeah, he's tough, I know, but I would slightly favor Sanodakis, man. I
like
kicks
him down?
Yeah.
Kicks him down, yeah. Kyle Bachniak and Carlton Minus, two other former UFC guys.
Oh, your boy, Carlton Minus.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second. Bachniak, man, this fight with Zabit, remember that? That fight was insane. That was a crazy fight. And I know he's not in the UFC anymore, but like, look at his level of competition. It was really tough, man. Look at these fights. Like, they're not like great. Some of these guys aren't great, but they're pretty good. They're all good, the guys he lost to.
I gotta be really mean to him. The fight against Barzola, I don't think he won that fight, but
I don't think he did either. But anyways, like overall, like this Dewado fight was very close. Like he could have won that one. And then Carlton Minus, my boy Matt Semmelsberger beat him, and then Gagos beat him, and he actually picked up a win. Oh, look where he won back in Alaska. And the guy he fought probably was terrible, right? Yeah, 2-1, 3-1. And maybe he's not horrible, but I mean, what do you take from the Alaska fight scene, right? There's not much to take from it. I think Bachniak will be favored. What do you think? We don't have odds. We're just guessing, but I think so.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah. They asked Dana about Zabit and said, unlike he'll fight for UFC in 2022. It sucks, man. I love Zabit, dude. He's such a good fighter. So underrated now. Because people forget about him. They completely forgot about him. He's the guy who beat Calvin Kattar, and wasn't really like, I think he lost the third round maybe, but the first two he won, and people are just like, oh, if it was 5 rounds, he would have lost. But That's fine, but it wasn't 5, it was 3, and he won. So, I just think people forgot about him. Anyways, Millender and Gooden. I mean, Jared Gooden just picked up a win in Jorge Masvidal's promotion, Icon, right? That's Masvidal's, I think. He owns it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And again, he had that one over Stoltz, the guy we was talking about. The guy Tristan was getting emotional about. I'm just kidding, Tristan. But I mean, he's good. I think he's solid too. And Millender has no ground game at all. I mean, if you take him down, you can beat him so easily. You got submitted by Ezekiel choke. He's fought tough guys too. Like, look at this level of competition, Marcel. Hamasi not that good, but McDonald, Karamov, Bilal Muhammad, Zaleski. He beat Max Griffin. He actually had some really good wins at the UFC. He was like really on a roll here. Holland, Alves, Griffin. There's some good wins. Any thoughts on this one? Who do you guys like in that one? Interesting fight, eh?
Yeah, it is. I feel like, I still have the feeling like if you can take Curtis Millender down, you have a big advantage, Yeah. But knowing Gooden a little bit, he probably likes to stand and bang as well, So
Gooden is he's more of a striker for sure.
Yeah,
I'd imagine he'd stand and bang, because honestly, if he knocks him out, I think he'll get back in the UFC. I don't think he's that far from getting back, Marcel, in my opinion. Kyron Bowen and Sasha Palatnikov. I think this guy Bowen was Contender Series guy, I want to say. Yeah, he was. He was, yeah. And also PFL. He's lost 3 straight fights, though. Palatnikov has also struggled a lot. After that, like I said, this Kossi guy's still in the UFC. He's gone. He lost to Sangane and Brahmaj. Sangane is not a great loss to have, I guess. I don't know. I mean, his record's not good, 6-4, but I think he's still decent. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I agree with you, man. I feel like the Kasanganay isn't a bad loss at all. I think Kasanganay was just maybe too early in the UFC. That's maybe a thing,
Yeah.
And but Kasanganay has still a lot of how do you say that? It's still very good, in my opinion. Big talent.
Yeah.
And Brahima, if Brahima defeats you, it'd probably be in the first round for a submission. So yeah.
Yeah. And Miller is a takedown defense. Small infant girl. Yes. Adam, your baby has better takedown defense. Possibly. No, I'm kidding. But it's not good. Like that guy, Miller's a good striker, but he just never show up to the wrestling. You can't compete in MMA if you can't stop a takedown. It's hard to win fights. Don't know who this guy is. Want to know with a knockout. Don't know who he is. Andrew Garrett and Justin Meade, 3-1. I don't know these guys. Never heard of them. And that would be a fight I would not even look at, you know what I mean? Because I don't know them at all. Josh Harvey, not familiar with this guy either, Marcel. I don't know if you are.
No.
Another guy. Oh, he beat Jay Ellis. He has a submission win over Jay Ellis. There we go.
Your boy.
Like the 90th guy to submit him.
What's Jay Ellis' record now, man?
I'm going to check 1 second. And Aldi Edwards. I don't know.
He's from Bellator, the guy, right?
This guy? Or
I'm tripping.
No, he's from like HRMA. That's the Kentucky promotion, I believe. Shogun Fights, Baltimore promotion.
But I don't know.
These guys are from like the regional scene. Jay Ellis, you want to check his record?
Yeah.
I think it's like 102 losses now, 102 losses, I want to say. 15-102, 16-104. Oh shit, it's even more. He got submitted last weekend. What the hell?
Yeah, okay.
Look at this guy, man. And this
there was some boxing in between.
Dude, what the hell is this? Look, since the beginning of the year, he's fought 3 times. He got knocked out twice and submitted with a camera. This guy is nuts, man. How is the commission still clearing this guy to fight? I don't get it, Marcel. 38, he's getting knocked out every fight submitted. That's so dangerous, man. Like this is the kind of guy that that's really bad. Anyways,
can you do me a favor, Adam? After this card, also on Topology, but let's do the card first.
Almost done, anyways. John Sweeney and Cole Smith. John Sweeney's a guy that he's from this promotion, NEF. He actually has a win, or he had lost to Cody Durden. Since then, he's done okay. He's done all right. And then Keith Lee, I think, is Kevin Lee's brother. I want to say, isn't it? Yeah, Kevin. He has a win over him too. Yeah, that's the other guy he beat. And then Cole Smith, former UFC fighter, the Cole Train. He had some tough fights too, man. That split loss, and I know Azure's not in the UFC, but those were some tough fights. I would lean probably towards this guy.
Me too.
Yeah. And then the last fight, Weston Wilson, who I'm kind of familiar with as well because he's had some fights. He submitted a couple of guys that, again, on the regional scene that I know who they are. And then he's taking on Kyler Malvo. I don't know who this guy is, 6-3. I don't know who he is, to be honest with you. So some of these guys are Bayou Fighting Championship. Louisiana, I think.
He got a loss against that Garrett guy who was also on the card, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, overall, he's supposed to fight Nolan Hernandez, by the way, John Sweeney. This card, and Matt Sales was supposed to fight in this card too. Oh wow, it's like almost every guy's a former UFC fighter. I like this card, man. Adam, Marcel, thank you. Really enjoyable show as always. Cheers, guys. I appreciate it, man. I mean, we're probably the only people that are going to cover this card. Let's be honest. Like, who else is going to talk about it? But these guys deserve their due, man. These guys are all really good fighters for the most part. Go ahead.
Do me a favor. Reese Street. Look him up on Topology.
He has he's 1-40 or something. He's the British guy that sucks, right?
Yeah.
He's a nightmare. That's a good nickname, but he's terrible. 0-40. Yeah, I was right. I know who this guy is. He's one of the worst guys. I mean, there's some bad records out there. The thing is, like, he's been in fake fights though, right? That's the thing, right? Like, this guy's a complete scrub. Look at
There's
this
another. If you look at, let me see.
How I'm just saying, like, doesn't he have friends or family that are like, dude, this is not your career path? Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm serious. He's 0-40 with like 40 knockout losses or something. 40 submission. It's almost all submissions, but. Marcel, like, honestly, if you had a friend that was really struggling what they're doing in their life, wouldn't you be like, hey, maybe it's time to make a change? Like, this guy fucking sucks at fighting. He's so bad. And he lost those amateur fights. Oh, actually, he knocked some. Marcel, this is worse than 0-40, dude. This is worse.
I was showing this to Marlu Skoonen 2 weeks ago, and she's like, "Are you for real?"
5-43 plus 0-40. What is it? He's 5-83. I mean, wow. Was there someone else you said was really bad?
Yeah, if you look at the go a little bit down.
Okay.
You have to watch a canceled fight. More above a canceled fight. Probellum. Can you fill in just Probellum in the search bar?
In the events?
Yeah, events. Probellum. Double L.
Is this the one where the fight was like fake or something, and he was dressed up as someone else or something? Is that the one?
No, it's a different one. What I mean.
If you find the link, you can send it to me. I don't know where this is.
Yeah, well, let me search for it.
Don't worry, just send me the link and I'll talk about it. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Probellum Topology. MMA. The thing is, Probellum has MMA and they have boxing. So, let me see. There was a card. Here it is. Probellum 2. There was another guy on that card, which has like a similar. Will
Bro,
Cairns.
It's so bad. 0-40 is just. I mean,
it's Will Cairns.
How do you spell his last name?
Cairns.
Okay, so sorry, Will.
Will, like Will Smith.
Yeah.
Cairns.
Oh, Carnage. That guy, Carnage.
I
see him. I found him. I'm pulling him up right now.
Perfect.
Dude, this guy also is bad. I mean, 1-41. Like, again, don't these guys have 1-42? It's even worse.
Look at this amateur.
Bro, this is just sad. It's honestly sad to look at this. Like, it's awful to look at this. He fought Ian Entwistle. Wow, that's crazy. That guy was in the UFC. He had that crazy and then he has a good win or someone? Is that what happened?
No, just 242 as well. It's also bad.
Unbelievable. Again, guys, don't these people have like friends that are like, and it's crazy because like he's been fighting since 2014. Like was he fighting like 5 times a year, like 10 times a year? Like, it just blows my mind, man. You know, when people say like these guys in the UFC, like, oh, these guys suck, this fighter sucks. Like, no, like these guys actually legitimately suck at fighting, and they suck at just choosing a career path because.
And the guy that you meant, you have to go to Mohammed Makayev's topology. Then you get the guy you mean.
Makayev, we don't know he's a monster, but who's that guy? Is it the last guy he fought, or
you have to Celtic Gladiator? I think he fought him, and let me check.
Was it? This one was changed. This Hayden Sheriff guy. Yeah, this guy's also So he fights twice in one night, but changes his name or something. Is that the guy?
Or last time he was like he just put another how do you say that? Another pants on or something, and he had something tattooed here that wasn't real. I don't know.
I mean, this is bad. And again, Tapology really knock these guys, and they call them exhibitions.
There it is. Yeah.
MMA
encaged.
Yeah, it's just pathetic. I mean, the thing, and these guys, it's like you have to wonder about fight fixing too. Don't you have to, Marcel, when they lose this often, and it's usually by submission, don't you wonder if they got paid off maybe or something? Like,
yeah.
Because they're not really, well, he's been knocked out a couple times, but if they're getting submitted more so they're getting knocked out, you'd think that, hey, take a dive for our guy to pad his record. So I don't know, man. They might get paid to lose, dude. That's what I'm saying. I think. I mean, how could they be that bad at fighting? Like, this is really bad. I know they put the warning there, Tristan, because like Tapology's like, saying like, hey, these fights are not legitimate. That's the thing, Mark. That's what I'm saying, Marcel. Like, there's something sketchy going on. Like, these guys, could they really be that bad where they're going 0-40? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like I thought Bob Sapp was bad. He lost like 10 straight fights. Remember him at the end of his career? He was getting paid off for sure, right? Bob Sapp. He was taking dives, going to like people's like home countries and losing. And I always look at the guys look at the guy that Jay Ellis beat, Marcel. I wonder how bad that guy is because he submitted him like a couple months ago. Like, oh Jesus. Anyways, I think that's going to be it. Really, I mean, like, is there? Sorry. There's one other thing we got to talk about before we go. Sorry, last thing. Yeah, that's the last thing. Did you tweet it out? You tweeted it, right? I think you tweeted the salaries.
I retweeted, a quote tweeted.
I'm going to pull it up here. Let me pull it up for Marcel. This is the last thing we'll talk about today, guys. We'll get out of here. Pulling it up. Yeah, Jedi had that. Okay, so let's look at the salaries for UFC Columbus because it's in Ohio, so the commission has to say. So here's my overall thoughts. I actually think that for the most part, these guys are, there's some really good payouts here. Like Curtis Blades made $262 plus the $50K. He had a great night. Dawkins made $80K to, he headlined the card, but it's not terrible for him. If he won, he would have made $160, I think. Neil Magny maybe $230. Kara France made $102. McMahon did okay. Like there were some fighters that did okay, but Askarov at $26K to show, he didn't get a bonus either. I mean, that was one of the better fights on the card. It's just crazy. That's really low. And then the guys down here, Marcel, Kizriev, 10-10. He's on the contender series. You're almost better off just waiting to get the call because you get 12,000 instead of 10, right? Like, why do you even go on the contender series? And by the way, the contender series, you know what they pay them on that? You know what they pay them, right? For contender?
Yeah.
5-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5-5 a contender, which Dana White's like, oh, well, this is so much better than what they would get in the regional scene. That's true. I agree with what Dana said, but it's not the regional scene. It's basically like the UFC. It's almost like the UFC. So it's just kind of crazy. And then, Tristan's mentioned this. Fiorone, 20-20 is really low for her too, honestly. And Miami's 60. Miami's ranked number 4 in the world. So we'll give her some credit for that. Gutierrez he did okay, 72, plus 50. So he made 122K. It's pretty solid.
And also look what they did with Nicolau, man, 22-22, and that's just
he's had like 10 fights in the UFC. That's insane. That he's on the second. That's crazy, run, Marcel. Yeah. He's on the second run in the UFC. He's making 20. That's I blame the UFC, but I also blame the management too, guys. Because no one's putting a gun to these guys' head and saying sign these contracts. You gotta remember that. No one's saying, hey, but that's their dream, right? Their dream is to be a UFC fighter, to be a UFC champion. There's no one that, let's be honest, no one's growing up thinking, I can't wait to be a Bellator fighter when I grow up. No one says that,
Oh,
people do say they want to be a UFC fighter, and then they work. That's why they work for peanuts. What are you gonna say, Marcel?
Look at the right there. Sorry, one typo. Manon Fiorot should be 80K, 40K.
Oh, okay, that's a mistake there. Okay, no worries. That's one mistake. No worries. So it's actually 40 and 40 for Manon. So
that's okay.
By the way, tell me what her last name sounds. What did she say her last name says?
Manon Fiorot.
Which is what we've been saying. I'm not sure why there's so much confusion. Like, when I live in Canada, Marcel, we learned French up till grade.
Obviously, you're from Canada.
Yeah, so it's Manon Fiorot, right? Like, I don't really know why it's Manon Fiu. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not sure why you're saying that.
I really feel like they ask her with the meetings, like, how do you say your name? And she's like, Manon Fiorot. Fio. She said Fio.
I heard her pronounced like 10 different times by everyone. Anik, Buffer, who else was there? Cormier. Like, they were all pronounced differently. Yeah. I pronounced differently. You did. Like, everyone. Anyways, let's get a couple more comments, guys. When is the next day in Weight Contender Series? Maybe August or July. I thought it was June. I thought June. That's what I heard, but I could be wrong.
I heard June and July as well.
Yeah, see, that's what I heard too. That's exactly what I heard. Victoria and Whitaker. Tristan, I forgot to mention that fight. I thought it was on your list, but I must have missed it because it was a few days ago.
That's why I posted that 1.5 weeks.
Yeah. I asked Marcel today if it's 5 rounds because I think it should be, but it's 3. I actually think that fight could be 5 rounds, guys. I really do. I know it's on a card with 2 other title fights, but they did that. Diaz Lawler, the RDA fight with McCann was 5. They could do 5. I think that fight could be 5 personally because I think both those guys are 5-round fighters. Both got great cardio. Arrow called out Boylan for a pin with salary, suggesting Boylan gets rewarded for signing fighters.
When did he do that?
Possibly. I didn't hear that, but.
Let us know where he did that, Glenn. I want to see that.
That's interesting. UFC 7. I like the Singapore card too. We got 2 title fights on that card.
6 fights so far. So, yeah.
Anyways, I think that's it for today, man. I'm talked out, guys. I talked enough about these B-level MMA shows for a game. Give you guys a bonus card. Who else is doing XMMA, guys? Come on, give us some credit on this. Marcel, plug your stuff. Let's get the heck out of here, man.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, and your Eurosport site, the MMA. How do you say that? Oh man, very bad promo. Big Marcel 24 on Twitter and Instagram, and usport.nl, and then the MMA segment.
Did someone come and slap you and you forgot your line like Chris Rock did? Like, it must have been. No, I'm kidding. Follow me on Twitter, guys, at MMAOB podcast, MMAOBsbigger.com. It's our YouTube channel, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. I put them up there the next day. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I know the viewership's going up a little bit late, which is nice. You know, we appreciate all you guys that listen. You know, it's a fun show. We try to keep the negativity away. We just like talking about MMA here. We don't like talking about, for the most part, the other stuff that's going on in the world. Also, guys, check me out at bookies.com. It's my main website. And then myMMAnews.com. So yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. No MMA this weekend, so go ahead, whatever you guys are doing, enjoy it. We got some guys in the crowd here, Litchfield, Grateful Dead, hype. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern for the next show. Peace.